Hello there and welcome back. Today we talk about the mighty Elektron Digitakt 2. So, you didn't see this machine before in my channel because I never had it. I just used it a couple of days because some friend lent it to me. At that moment, I didn't feel the need for it, and I was an Octatrack user, still am, and so I didn't find a placement in my workflow. But this new machine became such a better machine in my opinion. So there's a lot of demos already. I'm a little late to the party. I actually, for full disclosure, Elektron gave me this unit to try. So rather than do a demo, rather than tell you how it works, I'm gonna tell you the 10 point that makes this machine really good. And then at the end, I want to also talk a little about the comparison of the Digitakt and the Octatrack, because a lot of people is asking me that, which one would you pick? And now it's getting a little hard, because of course the Octatrack has still some advantage towards especially performing, but it starts being a kinda old machine, and what this offer in terms of quality of sound, straightforwardness, it's really good. But before going on, as usual, some way you can support my page. Please hit the like button and subscribe to this channel. Then you can buy from the affiliate link. You will pay exactly the same no matter what you're gonna buy, and I got a tiny percentage. Be sure to have the cookies engaged, otherwise I won't get anything. And then you can become a patron. On Patreon I do one-on-one, I reply to all of your questions, and you will find hundreds of exclusive videos. I already released a track from scratch using exclusively the Digitakt and sampling some other instrument. So if you want to see how I make music with that and how I make a lot of music with other instruments I have, Patreon is the right place. All right, let's go back to the machine. So Digitakt is a 16 track sampler and sampler player. So it doesn't create any sound by itself. I mean, using single wave cycle, you can use it as a synthesizer, but basically it's not what it has been created for. And it's a one-man band. You can do everything just in the box. What you are listening now, this track has been made exclusively into the machine. I'm probably using half of the 16 track, but you know, let's go through a few patterns that I create these days. So just to give you an idea. Of course, it's a machine that shines with rhythmic, organic pattern creation. But there's also a lot of glitchiness happening, and be sure to stay until the end of the video because I show you a quick trick that can be game-changing for glitch producing. Just to go through something that I created yesterday. Okay, that said, let's go to my 10 points on why this is an exceptional machine. So first, it has 16 track. Now, the previous iteration of Digitakt had 8 track plus 8 MIDI track. Now you have 16 track, and each one of these track can be an audio sampler player or a MIDI track. So these of course allow you to create way more complex pattern and creation. At this point of time, the overbridge is not yet activated, so you cannot stream everything through USB, but when it will be, and it's a matter of weeks, I think, you will have 16 stereo track directly out from a USB, plus you will have, of course, the main out and the effects out. I read that it's gonna be around 40 different channels that can be streamed through one cable to your DAW. This makes this machine incredible for creating scratches. That's my cat that does scratches. Sketches, and then take it into DAW, refine. Then, number 2, now you have a lot of more memory. Before you can load 128 sample per project, now we are over 1,000. And man, 1,000 sample is a lot. Plus, each project has 400 megabyte of memory, which doesn't seem a lot, but it is, trust me, considering that Octatrack has 80. Another thing that I find out, before the sampling time was 33 seconds, now it's 66, which is a lot. But I also brought in long samples that last 3 or 4 minutes, and you can play them back. So I don't know if that was possible before with the Digitakt, but now it is, and it's great because you can create backing track and work on top. So for performances, when you want to have a long sample, a minute sample or whatever, you can use it. So that's great. Number 3, the sampling engine now, it's super easy to do. You have the sample page right here, so the button has been a little changed. There's few changes, I don't know really because I didn't have the first one, but it's everything very straightforward to use. And the sampling happen here. What happens here, you can select what you want to sample. Could be any, the main, could be any track, or the input, which I do that a lot. You can arm it, and you can say to the machine how much you want to sample, from 1 step to 128 step to 66 seconds. The moment I press play, let's do it, the sampler will start. This means that I will have a sample perfectly in grid. If I use the MIDI out on any other instrument, I will have, once it finishes, in this case, I sampled 128 steps. So the fact that everything is quantized make a breeze to create nice loop, record from external gear, and I'm doing that a lot. And then you can save directly on your hard drive and assign to any of the triggers. This is super simple, super fast, and also having a lot of memory now, you can save everything you do. Back in the day, when you have just 128 slot, you might say, should I save this? Should I not? Now you have 1,000 and something. So yeah, you can save everything and be chill. So then let's go in number 4, kits. Kits are an amazing thing. So what does it mean? Here in this page, you can see you can load preset. Preset is like a single sound that has all the setting of these pages here. But now you can save kits, mean that it will save all the 16 track, all the 16 preset, and you can load them at any time. Also, you can load them while you're playing something. While this is great, it's great because it allows you for first experimentation similar to what I was doing with the machine drum. Machine drum, you can save kits, you have a pattern, and you can change kits whenever you want. And listen to what happened. For example, let's take one pattern. And now we can go in load. We can decide any kit here, load it. And now you have completely different things. And now you can load another. So the collection of the 16 sound you have can help you be faster when you produce, because you can save your templates and have like an 808, a 909, whatever you need. And also allows you to just, I don't know, load random stuff and hear what happened with the same pattern, which is fun and lead to great happy accident. Whenever you load an empty pattern, you will have, though, the first 16 sounds that are in the sample memory. So an advice, if you load A1 to A16 with your favorite sound, every time you load an empty pattern, you will have those. So that can kickstart your creativity and your production. Number 5, you can now set up the Ctrl-All configuration and compression routing. So Ctrl-All mean when you press track and move any of these page knobs, you will add that to all of your tracks. Before you couldn't decide to avoid to do that on certain track, now you can. Now you do function, setup, and now in Ctrl-All you decide which track are affected by the Ctrl-All. Great for performance. Then you also have compressor routing. So you have a nice compressor at the in the mixer stage. Here it is, where you can set the threshold, attack, relay, release, all the stuff. But also you have a side chain, and you can decide that you can side chain with whatever it's not compressed. So this is great because then you go here, you go compressor routing, you remove the kick, for example, and now the kick would be used as a side chain compressor. And I'm doing that a lot in these patterns. And so this is pretty cool because you can create the pumping effect. Plus, you might not want to use compressor or something, so you remove from the compressor. That's it. Very good. Then let's go on number 6, Euclidean sequencer, which I use a lot to populate track. How does it work? For example, if we grab an empty pattern and we want to populate these, let's say we set up our pattern for 128 step and you don't want to go through all the page to populate it. Simple, you go function, sequencer, you activate the sequencer, and it is now you can put automatically some triggers. Here, let's put infinite. And now if you want to transform those trigs, those Euclidean trigs, in the trigs recorded in your sequencer, you just press function, deactivate, and here it is. Now you have a 128 sequence populated. Very easy. And I will show you a trick at the end of this video, which use this technique. Number 7, this is big, the modulation. Now you have 3 LFO. Back in the day you have just 2. Only Octatrack at 3 LFO, and now you have 3, which is huge. So you go here, 1, 2, 3, all the LFO are the classic Elektron LFO, so you have all the destination, you have all the waveform. I use a lot usual random and with the trig mode in old, and it can create a lot of diversity when you play. But there's another thing that a lot of people overlook. In the setup, you have a lot of things that you can set up per track. For example, portamento, velocity to volume, but here you will have also velocity mod. You can decide to send the velocity, which you can play with the keyboard or set here with the knob, with the conditional trigs. You can send the modulation of velocity to 4 different targets. So basically, not only you have the 3 LFO, but also you can decide to use the velocity as a source for 4 more modulation, which is great. So this make each track having some like 7 modulation going on. So check that out and experiment with it. Then number 8, I said that already, 128 step. Now I don't use usually a lot of step. I usually like to be on one page and create conditional trig, but lately I started adding a lot of more pages, both in stuff like this and also my Oxy are using now a lot the having more steps, having more pages, because it adds variation to your composition. So what I usually do is I create the first 16 step and then multiply it, have it for 64 before, now 128. Now let's go number 9, different filter and machine. This is another thing that they put new. With function machine, you can select between 5 different machines. The one shot is your one shot. Then you have warp, stretch, and repeat that are different algorithms that change the way you repeat and time stretch the sample. And then there's grid, which is one of my favorite, which basically put the sample and then you can slice it in grid. This is reminds me on how it works on the Octatrack. Which is the next final point and my final trick. Then, if you move on the next page, you have filters. So for each machine, for each channel, for each track, you can decide between 5 different filters. So the multi-mode is the new one that, as you can see now, they changed the graphic. You can move towards different mode, that is low pass, band pass, high pass, and then move it around. Then you have low pass 4, that is a nice low pass 4-pole filter, an equalizer, a comb filter, which is pretty cool to create weird things with low pass, frequency, and feedback. And finally, you have a legacy low pass, H pass, like high pass that it was before. That's it. Now, the final point, it's the one that makes me think they can be a substitute for the Octatrack, and it's the slicing mode for the grid. So let's, for example, let's do this as an example. It's going to be my final favorite point and my final trick that I'm using a lot. So let's load a empty pattern. Let's go and find a we can get this. This is stuff. Let's get this. This is something that I recorded from my 303. So I press yes. Now I have it here. I want to put it on grid. So I press machine here. I go grid. And as you can see now, the entire loop has been divided in 4 big slice, but with this you can decide how many slice. So let's put 64. Now this will play only 1 slice. Let's put length like this. So here you decide how many slice to play with length, and with slice you decide which slice play. If you are familiar with Octatrack, it's how it works with Octatrack. The magic things happen when you do some weird trick, and this is my final tip for you. So, for example, press, what I do function. First I put a lot of pattern, a long pattern. So 128 step. Actually, let's do, 120. Then we go in the sequencer. We activate the Euclidean. We had quite a lot of steps. We turn off Euclidean. Now we have it on the sequencer, as you can see. And now what we do, it's once you are in grid mode, you press yes. And now you can create random locks. This is amazing. Means that for each of this step, it will pick a different slice. So listen what happened. So this is glitch paradise. You can bring any kind of sample, and now we just use this 303. But as you can hear, it's pretty cool. What you can do now you had your kick. And that's it. You already are somewhere. So this feature is really something that make me love this machine. I used to do that a lot in the Octatrack. Now, to conclude the video, some comparison with the other favorite of mine, the Octatrack Mark II. So, does the Octatrack still have some edge over the Digitakt? Some part, yes. For example, live looping, live sampling, and live resampling, it's more it's better on the Octatrack because it's a machine thought for that. It's thought for you playing, and while you are playing, you can record, resample, remangle, and everything will be always in grid, always in time, and you don't have to stop the machine. Theoretically, you can do that now with the Digitakt 2 because you can sample, arm, sample in time with the grid, and then apply the sample to the pattern. But of course, that will take a lot of, practice and menu digging. So I don't know if that will ever happen in the future, that they will have some live looping facility. Might be. That would make it amazing. But if that is your workflow, maybe the Octatrack has still an edge. Then, the Octatrack is a little more experimental to me. The fact that you have 8 tracks that then can resample each other, you have the audio buffer that can listen to different points of the audio signal, it still leads you to crazy results, which I never managed to get in any other machine. Then, scene in Octatrack are still way more performative friendly than track Ctrl All. While Ctrl All is super fun to use, you never really know what's gonna get because the track react differently based on the difference of the filter of the machine, blah blah blah. In the Octatrack, you can set up your scene, and if you're crazy good, as for example like EasyBoat, those scenes can do crazy stuff. So I feel that is still an edge that the bigger box like Octatrack, even the analog rhythm with their scene and performative tools allows you to have. Nonetheless, you can use Ctrl Hall in a very great way in the Digitakt. Then the Octatrack has the mixing capabilities. You can send 2 stereo input or 4 mono input and mix them. So it can be used as a performative mixer. This can listen to 2 input that can be stereo or mono. Still great, still enough. But the other one, if you want a performative mixer, something that get all of your sound together, the Octatrack is still a good solution. And then the final point is like loading sample and streaming sample, especially long sample in the Octatrack is a breeze. You put it in a card in a second and then you have it, and you can stream hours of content because they just stream from the card. Sending sample to the Digitakt use transfer, and transfer takes quite a while. It's somebody said it would take hours and hours to fill the entire 20 gigabyte, and it's true, like even for 1 megabyte it takes few seconds. So it's definitely something that you do once and it takes time, but on the Octatrack you just transfer things in very fast because it's a card, and then you have it right away there. No loading, no time lost. So these to me are right now the main difference. I have the feeling though that this machine has a lot of power under the hood that in future firmware they can expand, and it might become something like a Octatrack killer. Who knows? To me, they're both amazing machines. I will never sell my Octa. It's one of my favorite tools, and I'm actually thinking of putting them together for a live performance setup. All right, I hope this was interesting for you, and yeah, I'll see you next week.